This is the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel 1970-73 Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler YouTube channel.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1970-73 Carryover League. We are continuing in the postseason tournament, and we are over now in the American League, a series between the Rangers and Orioles. Now, in the National League, we did the first three. Let's take a look at the overall tournament ledger here. So in the National League, we did 3 of the 4. We're going to save the Houston, Florida for the last. Giants, Braves. Braves won 3-1. Arizona, St. Louis 3-2. The home teams and second place teams took care of business, but a third place team, Pirate team, beat the Rockies, and they had to have that, did the Pirates. It means the Braves are a couple over 500, and the Cardinals and Pirates are a game over 500, with the Cardinals holding a tiebreaker. We are going to determine Houston, Florida, the final participant, and that would be teams 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the National League playing for the last 2 wild card spots. So we're going to begin in the American League now, and the way we do this is we look at the combined winning games above and below 500. And in the American League, it's not a pretty story, as all these matchups feature a net loss here, -2, -1, -3. Milwaukee, Detroit features the 3 over 500 Tigers and the game under Brewers, so that'll be saved for the last. So we have to begin here, Baltimore, Texas. And the reason we do is, if Texas wins this series, they have the worst record in this matchup between the Orioles. If they win this series, but they only win it by a game, let's say they win this thing 3-2, they would still technically be a game under 500. And then later on, when Milwaukee plays Detroit, there's a possibility that that series will end with both teams having a record above game under 500, meaning that Texas could eliminate Baltimore, but then they themselves may not advance. And that's why we do it in this order. We start with the dregs of the American League. Unfortunately, we never envisioned that Baltimore would be a dreg of the American League, as you know, when you outline the Carryover League and you're looking at the years and you say 1970, 71, 72, 73, baseball should be very kind to the Baltimore Orioles. They win a World Series and they're in another one, and they're in the playoffs a third time. So they should be really, really good. And they have been in the last couple years. They won the World Series 2 years ago. Last year they got knocked out in the playoffs by a Detroit Tiger team. A Detroit Tiger team that lost the World Series themselves to the New York Mets. So Baltimore expected to rebound. It has been anything but that this year. They've struggled. And particularly since the All-Star break, their pitching staff has been getting crushed by the Red Sox and now the Rangers. And so let's take a look at this series that opens up in Texas. Game 1, Baltimore at Texas. Jim Palmer, the all-star Oriole pitcher, was 8-0 at the break. Now he's in a pitching slump against big game Bob Johnson for the Rangers. And oh my goodness, folks, the Rangers are hit happy. They like to get on base with walks. You know, Mike Epstein homer here. RBI single, Retman, sac fly here. Palmer is wild. 8 walks for Jim Palmer in 6 innings. That probably never did happen. But in this particular day, he is wild. And the Rangers just poured on. They beat the Orioles 8-4. Another poor pitching performance by Baltimore. Game number 2. Following this up in Texas. Again, this is the combination of the Washington Senators and Texas Rangers. Half and half. 70 and 71 Senators, 72, 73 Rangers. Doesn't matter. It's Dave McNally against Bill Hands. The Oriole offense is decent enough. They get 3 runs in the first inning on a bunch of singles, but Dave McNally gets knocked around. RBI single, homer by Frank Howard and former Oriole Merv Retman. 3 runs in the 4th. Again, they can't get out of the 6th inning. They bring Dick Hall in the 7th inning. He gets lit up, gives up 3 runs in the 7th. Final score 10-5. And Baltimore has done a catastrophic nosedive. Let's take a look at the overall standings now. In the American League. So Texas is presently at 500 and needs to win just 1 more game to eliminate the Orioles. And meanwhile, let's go up here, folks. There they are, the Orioles. They are in horrendous shape. They'd have to win all 3 of the games to get to 2020, and they might get an invitation to the 3rd round of this tournament. They have to wait and see. But that's what they have to do. We saw a similar predicament in the National League by the Pirates, who were once 12-15. Pirates had more time because they had a 7-game series against the Cubs and a 5-game series against the Rockies. They won 7 of 10, so they improved to 19-18. Baltimore does not have that luxury. They have to win all 3 of these games and then only have 3 more games in addition to that because they got pounded by the Red Sox and they're getting pounded by this Texas Ranger squad. So, we are in Baltimore for a Game 3. On the mound for the Texas Rangers, their swing starter, because they don't have anybody else who can pitch on 3 days rest other than Bob Johnson, and the series against the Angels they played before Baltimore went 7 games. So Bill Gogolewski comes out of the Ranger bullpen as the swing starter, number 5 starter, and he will only have to duel with Mike Cuellar, only the quote-unquote ace of an Oriole team. But Cuellar is having a hard year. And normally this should be a rout for the Orioles, but everything to this point indicates otherwise. Let's get started from Baltimore. Leading off will be Toby Harrah. 34, flies left. Dave Nelson, 2/8 a single. He is an ace stealer. Johnny Oates with a -1 arm. Are they going to be aggressive up 2-0 in the series? Why not? They're going to do it. And he steals second base on a 6. Jeff Burrows, 45 off Cuellar, skies out to right field, and Frank Howard, 110. Frank singles to right field. Dave Nelson is a 17 runner. He will run against Bunbury, and he will score on a 19 because he's a 17 runner. Bunbury's got a +2 arm, so he's in there. 1-0, Texas. And here we have former Oriole Merv Retman. 1-4, skies to center field. All right, the Orioles leading off. It'll be Don Buford. 2-6, triple 1-6 is a triple for Buford. Bobby Grich. 1-9, up base at the left field. Another good start for the Oriole hitting. Hitting's not been the problem, of course. On the year it has. They're hitting below 250 as a club, mysteriously. But, yeah, you can help Mr. Cuellar out by giving him 4, 5, 6 runs. Maybe that's the ticket. Al Bunbury now. 34 for Al Bunbury is a 1-6-3 double play. And Brooks Robinson. Brooks Robinson is batting cleanup. He volunteered to help his team out by moving into the cleanup spot, once occupied by Frank Robinson, because Boog Powell and Al Bunbury have had dismal years. Paul Blair's having a great year, so they want to leave him alone where he's been. So Brooksy volunteered to bat cleanup to help his squad. 110 flies to left field. So, 1-1, top of the second, Mike Epstein. 1-6 is a K. Canigliaro, 4-4, third X. This is Brooks, as a 1 at third base makes the play. 16 straight Gold Gloves. Dick Billings, 49, single 1-3, and he lines out. Bottom of the second, it's Boog Powell in a horrific slump this year. That's nosedive this team. 6-11, pitcher X. The pitcher is Gogolewski at 2-11. makes the play. So let's postulate for a moment. If Boog Powell in 1970 would have gotten into a horrific slump and hit 226, and if the Orioles would have traded Frank Robinson away to the Cleveland Indians, then they would have possibly ended up completely out of the playoffs altogether. Is the if then else you can apply to this model. Paul Blair, 410, skies the center field. Billy Canigliaro is a 2-11, he makes the catch. And Kurt Blefary, 47 is a K. Top of the third, it's Elliot Maddox, 56 off Cuellar, short X. Rich is a 3E26 at short, and he makes the play. The Orioles, of course, they also don't have the complete roster they would have had. They miss Mark Belanger at shortstop as a 1, and Bobby Grich has had to play there. He's mostly suited to be a second baseman, but they have Davey Johnson there. So Grich is playing short as a 3, which is not good for the Baltimore defense, backing up that pitching staff. Toby Harrah, 5-10, off of the Cuellar card. It is gone, and the Rangers retake the lead. Dave Nelson, 2-7. Let's take a look at this Dave Nelson card. So he's got a nice little stick here, but he's questionable defensively at this point. As a Senator in 71, he hit 280, has speed and base running ability, and he transitioned to Texas. He may not have played for the Texas Rangers, I'm not sure. His career will not last long, and ultimately they'll probably bring up a Lenny Randall to play in the infield to replace him. But Dave Nelson is a single to left, ace stealer. He stole the first time up. He's going to try it again until they can get him out. He rolls a 7, and they can't get him out. Runner at second, 1 out for Burrows. 66, guys left, and with 2 outs, it's Frank Howard. 3-10, single, 1-19 is a base hit. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Big moment here for Merv Retman. Let's take a look at old Merv. Yes, again, another Baltimore Oriole player playing somewhere else. And Retman at 322 in 1970 for those Orioles. So they know they're missing him as well. We also know that they didn't really have a spot for him because the Orioles presently have Buford, Paul Blair, and of course they brought up Al Bumbry to replace Frank Robinson, and that has not worked. But they don't have Merv Retman either. Big moment here for Merv Retman. Here's the pitch. 2-10, grounds to short. Cuellar sticks around here, 2-1. It'll be Davey Johnson. 2-9 is a grounder to short. Johnny Oates, 2-7's a single. Buford, 67, single 1-12, lines out to short. And with 2 outs, Bobby Grich, 1-8, up base hit in a center field. 2 on, 2 outs for Al Bumbry. 2-6 is single ... and the Orioles have retied the game. Back and forth affair. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. It'll be Brooks Robinson. 2-7, lines is short. We go to the 4th. 2-7, by the way. Not to hammer this home any more difficultly, but that's a hit for Frank Robinson if he was batting cleanup for the Orioles. Just want to throw that out there for you. Mike Epstein, 2-7 is a base hit. Speaking of 2-7s. Billy Canigliaro, 68. Oh boy. Double 1-7 is a single ... And once again, these Ranger bats are just rattling the Oriole pitching staff. Runners in the corners, nobody out. Dick Billings. Gonna play back, hope for double play here. 68, no sir. Just continue to batter the Oriole starter, Mike Cuellar. Double 1-7. That is a double. It is now 3-2. Second and third, okay, let's bring it up. I give up. I have no idea what to do with this Baltimore pitching staff. 48 is a walk, and the bases are loaded, and there's nobody out. And there's nothing to do here. This is the die is cast. It's just try and survive if you can, and yeah. Toby Harrah, a bunter, got to bring the infield up. 110. Let's take a look at Toby Harrah's card of 1973 for the Rangers. It is double 1-2, single ... It is a single ... and once again, at least 5 runs for the Oriole opponent. It's all the collapsing pitching staff. They once had a team ERA right around 3, and it's close to 4 now. Dave Nelson. Runners on the corners, nobody out. I guess they'll bring it up for him. 58 off of Cuellar. The battering continues. Triple 1-2, single dot dot. It is now 6-2. This is one of the worst pitching performances. The last, let's see, 6 games against, no, only 5 games against Boston because they wiped them out. And then, yeah, this is one of the worst weeks of pitching for any team, let alone, this is a Baltimore pitching staff that swept the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series by not giving up any more than 2 runs in a game. The Big Red Machine. And the Texas Rangers are having batting practice with them. Jeff Burrows, 1-6. Let us take a look at the Jeff Burrows card. This is a 73 card for the Rangers. He had 30 home runs. 1-6, homer 1-6, fly ball the rest, and what do we do? Of course, it is gone. And this is just a mess. It is 9-2. Cuellar will face a couple more batters, and then his season will be over. Frank Howard, 55, rolls to second, and that's an out. Merv Retman, 56, short X. This is Bobby Grich, a 326, makes the play, and with 2 outs, we've seen enough. We give him the courtesy to let him have them bat around before we yank him. So Cuellar leaves after 3 2/3 innings. And, well, they'll bring Milt Pappas in the game. Milt Pappas will come out of the Oriole pen. He was the number 4 starter, but the Orioles had skipped some games and didn't need him to pitch. So now they do, though. Milt Pappas coming out of the bullpen in the 4th inning with 2 outs to face Mike Epstein. 4-10, skies the center field. This is Paul Blair as a 1, makes the catch. Blair's had an outstanding year, trying to keep the Orioles on course. But 9-2 in the 4th inning. Boog Powell, 1-5, and Boog Powell. Let's take a look at it, folks. Yeah, so it's been a horrible year for Boog, and he's got a great card. He was your American League MVP in 1970. Here he hits a home run. This could be the case of a little, too late. Solo homer, it is 9-3. Boog Powell, 35 homers and 297 batting average. Paul Blair, 55, rolls the second. Kurt Blefary, 5-10, strikes out. Davey Johnson, 1-6, skies the left field. We go the 5th in a 9-3 game. Billy Canigliaro, 5-10, catcher's card. This is Johnny Oates, a 3, E4, 1 out. Dick Billings, 55, short X. This is Grich, a 326 shortstop. Makes an error. Not good. Elliot Maddox, 2-8 is a K. And with 2 outs, Toby Harrah, 52, pops to the 3rd. What this also does, if the Rangers finish this by getting a 3-game sweep, they are suddenly a game over 500, and their season is not so dire anymore. And they have a very good chance of making the playoffs suddenly, because they pick up a +3 in the standings when they were a couple games under 500 after, losing the last 2 games against California. So the Rangers would have a puncher's chance of getting into the playoffs in an era where they had no business going near the playoffs. 9-3. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th, but first pause for a moment from our sponsor.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, Johnny Oates. 1-3 pops out. Buford. 1-10 rolls the 3rd. Bobby Grich, 2-9. Rounds to short. Gogolewski is a starter 6. So we'll go at least 6 innings and probably more with a big 6-run lead. 3rd inning for Pappas is Dave Nelson. 47, another Dave Nelson hit. He is 4-4-4. Does he try for a 3rd stolen base? Dave Nelson. He rolls a single digit again. 3 for 3 in stolen bases and 4 for 4 in 2 runs scored to this point. Rubbing it in to the Orioles. Jeff Burrows, 5'10", catcher's card. 3E4 is Mr. He gets a foul out, Mr. Johnny Oates. Frank Howard, 1-7. Let's take a look at Frank Howard's 1970 card that hit 44 home runs for the Rangers. Homer 1-11. He rolls a 9, and it is gone. And once again, the Rangers are in double digits against Baltimore. It is 11-3. This was kind of heartbreaking for Oriole fans. Merv Redmond, former Oriole here, 55, bounces to short. Bobby Grich makes the play. And Mike Epstein, 45. Homer 1-10 off of Pappas. It is a double. Billy Canigliaro, 35. Triple 1-4. Single ... It is 12-3. Dick Billings, 66. Flies to right. We know the Orioles did not have a lot of success, in modern times with horrific pitching, but we're talking about Oriole Hall of Fame Ring of Honor guys here getting knocked around. Cuellar, Palmer, McNally. 12-3 game, bottom of the 6th. Al Bumbry. 38 is a K. Brooks Robinson, 59. Sky's the center. Boog Powell. 2-7, single 1-4, lines out. Bill Gogolewski. Quality start. Was a Washington center in 71, 6-5 with a 2.76 ERA and 124 innings. And he's trying to get his team to the third round of the tournament, doing an excellent job. 12-3. Well, let's try somebody else to pitch. Who do we do now? Let's go Dick Hall again in the 7th inning. Well beyond ideas trying to figure this out. It's just sit and deal with it. Elliot Maddox in the 7th. 6-11, short X. Grich makes the play. Toby Harrah, 2-6, is a pop to second. And with 2 outs, looking for a perfect day, Dave Nelson. 5-10 off of Dick Hall. Skies to left, and he gets out. Stretch time in Baltimore. It is a quiet day. The fans are just not in a good mood here. We are listening to Crack the Sky, Safety and Numbers LP, a little bit out of the timeline, but they were often played on the radio in Maryland in this timeline, and they always come out for Oriole games. So there you go, Crack the Sky. Bottom of the 7th inning. Gogolewski will throw another inning. Why not? It'll be Paul Blair, 45. Sky's the center. Kurt Blefrey, 6-12, rolls to first, and with 2 outs, Davey Johnson, 37's a walk, and Johnny Oates, 1-9, grounds to second base. We'll pull Gogolewski after 7 great innings. Let his relievers finish this. Dick Hall continues into the 8th. Jeff Burrows, 1-4, center. Frank Howard, 3-11, skies to right. And Merv Redmond, 65, lines to second base. So Dick Hall had some answers. 12-3, bottom of the 8th, Denny Riddleberger will come in for Texas. Texas is also playing for a Commissioner Award for roster participation. We saw that in a previous video where Colorado had the lead, and then Arizona took the lead with 1,500 points. The award is determined right before the playoffs. So the Rangers will have, assuming they win the series, a way of adding more points in the 3rd round of the tournament. So it'll be Don Buford in the 8th. 66 off Riddleberger, flies to left. Bobby Grich, 1-9 is a single. And Bumbry, they're going to have a pinch hitter here. He doesn't hit lefties very well. It'll be Kurt Motton. Take a look at the Kurt Motton card. He's had 1 pinch hit homer in this series. The pitch to Kurt Motton. 3-12. Oh, that is your Lomax. Uh-oh. And, yeah, par for the course. We go to the 9th in Baltimore. It is a funeral dirge here. Grant Jackson will come on in. He's had a great year. He was acquired in the Pat Dobson trade to solidify the bullpen. Not much this bullpen can do in this series. The games are out of hand before we got a chance to use Grant, and this is a garbage inning for the poor guy. Mike Epstein, 56 is a K. Billy Canigliaro, 53, right X. This is the new right fielder, Motton. 47. Makes the grab. Now with 2 outs, Dick Billings. 46, pops us short. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 12-3. A 12-3 stunner. And the first sweep of the second round of the tournament is on the horizon here. 3 more batters. It'll be Brooks Robinson. Let's take a look at Brooks's card of 1970. The Hoover Vacuum Cleaner MVP of the 70 World Series. He will continue with Baltimore, of course, with a new card. They have a couple options. Does it 288 in one of the years? Does it 20 homers in one of the years? We'll look at that in the postseason, in the eliminating of the Oriole videos. But here he is, the final at-bat with his 1970 card for Brooks Robinson. 2-3, pops to second base. Boog Powell, final at-bat for his 70 card, 39 grounds to second. And it only makes sense, the final at-bat for Paul Blair's 1970 card. 3 world champion players in a row. Blair skies the center. And we can close the book on the 1970 Orioles with a thud. That is over. And the Texas Ranger Washington Senators, the Washington Rangers, Texas Senators, whatever you want to call them, have stunned the baseball community by beating up Baltimore 12-3. None of the games were particularly close either. That is remarkable. We'll do the box here. Brand Jackson struck out a batter. Dick Hall got 6 straight outs. Milt Pappas had a bad 6th inning. 1, 2, 4 hits and 3 runs in the 6th inning. Had a strikeout in the other inning. Mike Cuellar's dismal year continues. 11 hits, 9 runs. They are all earned, folks. Yeah, that'll just destroy an ERA. A walk and a strikeout. Lindsay gets the final 3 outs. Riddleberger gave up a hit and a double play. Bill Gogalewski got the win. 6 hits and 3 runs that were all earned. A walk and 3 strikeouts. 1009, 0109, 1215, 37, 1313. Looking back, Baltimore led the league in ERA at the All-Star break. Then the postseason tournament started, and the nightmare did as well. Just horrible, horrible performances. We'll do the composite box here. So Baltimore falls to a season finishing 17-21 record. And their team ERA just topped 4.03. And they're hitting .238. That is not sustainable for any franchise, really. And what happened is, if I can go back, I believe I have the All-Star break numbers. Should be in here. Don't have the ERA, but they had 96 earned runs in 281 innings. Yeah, 310. Their ERA was 310, but then I got all the boxes here. Cuellar gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. McNally gave up 3 and 6 2/3 in a loss, and he got a win in that one. Palmer gave up 7 runs in 7 innings. Milt Pappas took a loss, 4 runs in 6 innings. This is all against Boston. Cuellar only went 2 1/3 against Boston, gave up 10 runs, 7 were earned. And then in the series we just saw, Palmer in 6 innings gave up 7 runs. McNally gave up 7 runs in 6 innings, and then Cuellar got knocked out again with 9 runs in 3 2/3. A stunning run of horrible pitching by one of the best, if not the best, pitching staff in the 1970s. Absolutely remarkable. So Cuellar, it finishes 2-5, 45 runs in 75 innings. That's an ERA of 5.40. So yeah, just dismal. But you gotta give it to the Texas Rangers. They look kind of sluggish against the Angels, losing 4 of 7. But now they are a game over 500, which is nice. They have 1,464 commissioner points. They're about 50 points behind Arizona. They could pick those points up in the next round of the tournament. Hitting .255 with a .432 ERA. Big game Bob Johnson, the guy who pitches on 3 days rest, is 6-3, pacing the squad. They acquired him in a trade with Kansas City a couple years ago. Homer happy Rangers Frank Howard, 14 homer, 28 RBI. He has won an MVP with a 69 card in previous years. And Mike Epstein, 13 homer, 29 RBI. The Howard Epstein show continues for as long as they can. They are not letting Epstein go to Oakland, and they're probably going to hold on to Frank Howard and not let him go to Detroit. And just hold on to these guys and then bring along the kids, Jeff Burrows and Toby Harrah, and then maybe next year Mike Hargrove will emerge. So signs are pointing up for Texas, at least in the short term, in an era where they didn't do necessarily a whole lot. We played 574 games at this point, hitting .264 the .393 ERA. That ERA climbed because of the poor performance of Baltimore. We'll plug those numbers in. So here's Baltimore, Texas, a best of 5, and Texas, a stunning 3-0. So Texas is 20-19, and Baltimore is 17-21. And their season is over. At a game over 500, Texas will get an invitation to the next round of the tournament. As you can see here, there wouldn't be a way where a team that loses any of these series would be a game over 500. So that's it today. From Baltimore, their season's over. The Texas Rangers advance. Congratulations to the Rangers, and we will see you next time.